Hello and welcome to the 5th installment of the Synapse Misfire Podcast. I'm your host, Chris, and your other host, Jordan.
Hello all.
Say hi, again.
Yeah, say hi. Hi.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah. Good way to start.
Yeah. So we got a couple interesting things happened. Mainly the Nvidia stuff, but we have a story to tell first. So you gotta listen to us talk and ramble before we talk about the good stuff. Because everyone already knows about the Nvidia stuff already. Everyone read it, and so all we're gonna do is present you the facts and give our opinions on it, so that's the only thing you're gonna take away. So we got a story that no one's heard, except me and Jordan.
Unfortunately us, we had to be there.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
So, last week, or the week before, I don't remember, I bought a Volkswagen Golf for $1,100. I bought it as a beater car to learn how to drive stick. It's a little 5-speed. Surprisingly good for how much it cost. But the thing is, with old cars, like Bluetooth wasn't a thing. It didn't work. It wasn't invented.
Yeah, it wasn't like mass adopted, even if it was out at that time, which I'm not sure when it was invented. Do you know?
I don't.
I don't, but even if it was,
and I'm not going to look it up because I don't care.
It certainly wasn't mass adopted.
So basically, I wanted Bluetooth because, I don't want to listen to the radio. That's pretty cringe, honestly. Yeah. Fuck the radio. I don't like the radio telling me what I'm going to listen to. You know what I mean?
That's it. When you put it that way, the radio does suck.
And there's ads too. I want to listen to what I want to listen to. And I want to hear it in its entirety. I don't want certain things cut out to make it more family friendly or whatever. Anyway, wanted Bluetooth, and I had a stereo. I had a head unit from my old car. My very first car was a Jeep, and then I replaced the stereo in it, or the head unit, and it took me maybe 25 minutes to do the whole thing. And that's opening up the dash, getting the stereo out, putting the new harness in, and the new stereo in the dash. Not that hard. So I figured I was kind of looking at the, same sort of process. But no, it's a Volkswagen. So there's all kinds of extra weird steps you got to take. So firstly, I needed to special order these little tools. It looks like a car key, but it's there's a notch close to the end of it. Maybe we could put a picture of it if we remember. But if we don't, or you're just listening to audio, look up Volkswagen stereo removal key or Audi stereo removal key. It's it actually looks like a key. So I need to special order those, firstly. Secondly, they didn't work.
Yeah, not at all.
So I was doing this today because I just got the package in today or yesterday, I don't remember. But I was just doing this today before Jordan showed up to my house. And I was trying to get the stereo out of my car, and it wasn't going, just wouldn't give. So I figured, Jordan's here, he could help me out, right? Two heads are better than one, right? Yeah, that wasn't good.
It didn't help much.
No, it really didn't. So basically, Jordan, you got here at what, 3?
About 3:10, yeah.
3:10. And we spent probably until 4:15 getting the radio out. And then we spent until 5:15 putting the new radio in. Because I wired it wrong first, and then the speakers just started making the worst noise I've ever heard.
And the display on the radio burnt out.
And I broke the display on my radio.
Oh shit, that's too funny.
And then I rewired it. My computer, my laptop that's recording this is going fucking leaf blower mode right now. So I rewired it. I rewired the harness up properly. Connected it back. It works. Kind of.
There's just no display.
The display is broken, and that whatever that timed switch that's supposed to shut the radio off when you open the door or whatever, or after a certain amount of time when it's, just left running, that doesn't work.
Yeah. So the radio is just
to,
always on.
I have to manually turn it off. But since I killed the display, I'm gonna get a new head unit anyway.
Yeah.
So maybe that'll work. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe. Maybe that'll come with better instructions, and maybe it'll be a little bit easier than that screw up that occurred with those freaking keys. Did we mention the part where we got it out with flatheads by ripping it out of the dash?
Yeah. So the way it works is that there's a how do you call it? There's little clips on the sides, on the left and right side of the actual head unit, the actual stereo unit. And what you're supposed to do, you're supposed to put the keys in slots that are on the face of the radio. You're supposed to put the keys in there. There's 4 of them. And it's supposed to depress some clips, and then you should just be able to pull the radio out.
Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Simple as that.
Easy, right? Wrong. Very wrong. So, what we ended up doing is there's little screws on the actual front of the radio, or on the tops of the radio. So we took part of the dashboard out. Then we undid those screws, ripped the face of the radio off, and then found the clips, and then just pried those off.
With flatheads, yes.
With flathead screwdrivers. And we used several screwdrivers, a bunch of tools, to just rip this thing out of the dashboard.
And it worked.
It worked. It's out of the dashboard. It is thrashed, though. It is mangled.
Looks like it fell off a shipping truck.
It looks like it fell off a building.
Yeah, honestly.
It fell off a building into a pit of acid. It was bad.
Yeah, maybe we can throw up photos of that. Yeah. If we remember.
And then we could show all the pieces.
Yeah.
The carnage, because at some point, we were trying to wedge a screwdriver into one of the cutouts on the body and get it leverage against the actual plastic parts of the interior of the car. And at one point, Jordan broke a piece of the metal on the stereo on the actual housing.
Yeah, ripped straight off, clean off.
It's like thin sheet steel, but it's still steel. Just went straight through the steel.
Oh shit! Fuck that radio.
That was actually probably one of the most pain in the ass things I've ever done.
That if that was a solo project and there wasn't 2 of us, that would have been mind numbing and I would have wanted to die. But it was just funny because there's 2 of us. All this random shit that happened, like when the radio first shorted and then fell out of the dash. And
yeah, there was one point where I got the new radio in the mount that I have, which it's a double DIN mount. Which, if you're not familiar with car stereos, a single DIN is like a very thin, little standard radio. A double DIN is 2 of those.
It's like a sandwich.
Yeah, and it's a bit bigger. It's generally you would have a screen there or something too. Or just a bigger stereo, whatever. But anyway, so you can see in the dash underneath the single DIN radio. So I got to get a double DIN one anyway. But there was a point where I was trying to test the radio, and I started the car, and it just fell out of the dash right as the car started. It was almost as if it were on cue.
Yeah, no.
We should have filmed that. That would have been
I was just thinking that when we were talking
video.
about the photos, but that would have been a funny ass video to have in the background.
It would just but a lot of it was just us wrenching on the radio and just going, "Come on, you fuck!" Just kind of get it. But
yeah, I mean, honestly, that's kind of what it was. But
that was any car guys. I'm not really a car guy. I know a little bit about cars, but I've never really worked on them. Which I'm trying to do, which is why I bought a beater. So I don't mess up my car that was $18,000.
Yeah, that seems like a good idea.
But if any car guys are listening, especially ones who really work on Volkswagens, I'm sorry. This is probably like really hard to listen to.
He's probably like, you fucking idiot, turn the key.
Yeah, it was probably like a matter of we were just doing it wrong. Well, it was definitely a matter of we were doing it wrong. But the key thing was like probably you had to turn it the other way. But there's like 4 slots. Like how could it be
We also
different?
We tried numerous configurations. We tried alternating them. We watched videos on it, and everything seemed fine. And then once we finally wrenched the radio apart, it looked like the clips were supposed to be vertical, which there's another option of that radio with vertical slits.
Yeah, so basically the front of the radio, there's 4 slits, and the slits are horizontal. So it looks like, you put the key in horizontally. But the clips are on the left and right sides going vertically.
Yeah, and there's another option of that radio with vertical slits, which is the weird part.
So, in conclusion,
fuck Volkswagen.
Fuck Volkswagen. Fuck the entire country of Germany.
Oh God, don't even start picking fights like that.
If
you think you and I can take on Germany?
Yes. They don't even have guns over there.
Yeah, neither do we.
I'll shoot a German. I don't care. My neighbor's German. She's really nice, so I probably shouldn't say that.
She the one who made those gingerbread cookies that one time?
I don't know.
I was too busy eating them. I'm unsure.
Yeah, I don't know. When I see food, I forget about everything.
It's like the Hulk.
Yeah.
Just gets really mad, but instead his stomach just starts to growl.
That's my secret. I'm always hungry.
Hashtag Avengers.
That's Endgame 2. Thanos comes back.
Fully torched.
He snaps his fingers and he's got a box of Magnums in his hand.
I'm fucking crying.
This purple snake ain't gonna service itself.
My stomach hurts. I'm gonna have abs by the end of this episode.
Isn't this a tech podcast?
Did we mention we're friends?
I don't know anymore. I think talking about Thanos' cock may have ruined that. Are you good?
I'm in charge of editing this, so this is gonna be fun.
Are you gonna die?
I hope so. Oh, my kidneys are failing. Oh shit.
You're not the only one.
Alright, so on to our first topic. Oh shit. I almost flipped the fucking mustard chair.
Mustard chair. Man, that took that whole stereo job took a lot out of me. I'm not even gonna lie.
Which one? The one?
That whole stereo thing, that took a lot out of me.
Like it talking about it or doing it?
Doing it took it took probably 85% of my brain cells away.
Yeah.
Like I'm experiencing the early stages of brain death right now.
Brain decomposition.
Something like that.
Nice. Anyway, on to the first actual fucking topic.
Yeah, aren't we a tech podcast?
When we want to be.
Okay. Nvidia, they revealed their GPUs.
Hell yeah.
The new ones, and they're very good.
Much better than we actually had anticipated.
That's actually inherently very interesting because it seems like this has to be the biggest improvement in performance that we've gotten ever.
Yeah.
In a generation gap.
Like a massive in performance, yeah. It's insane. The performance boost is ridiculous.
Like 980, because I've had a 980, a 1080, and a 2080, and the difference between 980 and 1080 was like, it was noticeable.
Yeah, wasn't it like 15% or something?
Something like that, but it wasn't like mind-boggling, right? And the difference between a 1080 and a 2080 is like the 2080, sure, it's better, but it's like it's not mind-boggling.
You honestly just mostly get the ray tracing. That's the benefit of the 2080 over like the 1080. Yeah. You get those ray tracing cores.
But the apparently the 3070,
the starter card for this
which costs
lineup.
$500, mind you, is supposed to outperform the 2080 Ti,
which is a 12 $1,500 as of now, top of the line card until these launch. That is insane.
That's actually really incredible.
That is incredible.
So I can imagine what the 3080, which is $699. I can only imagine what that's gonna bring.
And then, if you got that Thanos energy, you got the RTX 3090 for $1,500, which surprisingly is the same price as a Note 20 Ultra.
$1,500. It's a really surprising price gap.
Yeah.
I imagine they spaced it out because they want to do a 3080 Ti at some point.
That was kind of some speculation, but also if you look at the
Probably
the
something
table,
for $899 or $999.
Yeah, if you look at the table we made about the specs, you notice like there's a big jump in VRAM and there's a pretty big jump in CUDA core count.
So this essentially, what I imagine, this is essentially just the Titan of this gen.
Yeah, that's kind of
because they probably figured like we've really like messed up the Titan name. Like we really messed that up with the Titan X, the Titan X again, right? And now we have RTX Titan. So people, if you say Titan, people think of like 18 different graphics cards.
Yeah.
So they're like, let's go back to the 90s, the 90 series, which makes a lot more sense actually. So I'm assuming that's supposed to be our Titan for this generation.
Yeah, especially because the price jump kind of indicates
it's
that.
It's $1,500, 24 gigs of VRAM, whereas the 3080 only has 10 gig. So I say only.
Yeah, only 10 gigs, but you know, and then I meant to bring this up, but GDDR6. What are the 20 series use? Is it GDDR5? Or is
it's 6.
It is 6 as well?
GDDR5 was...
The 10 series.
The 9 series. GDDR5X...
Oh, was the 10 series?
Was the 10 series. GDDR6 is the 20 series.
Well, what's interesting is the 3070 uses GDDR6, and the 3080 and 3090 use R6X.
Oh.
Which is... That's why I was bringing it up, because I wasn't too familiar with the lettering and numbering scheme. I just kind of knew GDDR5 sits, and then I had never heard of this X being added on the end. So that's...
Yeah, they usually just do like blank X, blank X.
Yeah. But what about those CUDA core counts? That's insane.
That's actually like incredible. So the 3070 has 5,888 CUDA cores. The 3080 has 8,704 CUDA cores, and the 3090 has 10,496 CUDA cores.
Which is absolutely insane.
How? I'm fairly certain that's like the 3090 is like, I think that's like triple what my card has.
That's insane. And if you look at the gap between the 3070 and the 3090, 5,888 versus 10,496.
Sorry, my cat is interested in what we're doing. Say something. Say something. Come on. Don't be shy. Okay. Anything else? You were really loud earlier. I'm surprised with the absolute leapfrog that Nvidia did here. Like, there was the 20 series, which is like, whoa, ray tracing, that's fancy, that's cool. And then the new consoles were revealed, and they're like, holy shit, this is pretty impressive. There's like a lot of power in these things. And then Nvidia goes, oh yeah, check this out, and reveals some of the most powerful GPUs ever made. I'm speaking anecdotally, I'm not sure, but probably I would say the biggest performance gap between generations ever.
Yeah, I mean, I would certainly think so. Like you said,
this is definitely like a card I'm gonna think about getting like day one.
I would certainly consider it, but I would need to upgrade my case for one, because the 3070 and 80 I believe are 2-slot. 3070 might be single slot, but the 3090 is a 3-slot card. They are chunky. They're like 14 inches long. They are massive. They are absolute units of cards.
They're big lads.
I've seen memes on the internet of the card next to like an AC unit, and they're just like, yeah, this is my new card.
Insane. Well, they had that with like some of the original Titans, where they had the Titan. I forget what it was called. Like, it was the Titan Black Z2 or some shit. It was a triple slot card, which was just two Titans basically glued together.
Really? That sounds crazy.
And yeah, that was like one of the calls back to old school computing, whereas like if they wanted more powerful GPUs, they just glued two other ones together.
Yeah. It was almost like SLI, but all in one package.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting that so far for this generation, they haven't announced a 3060. I mean, granted, the price point of the 3070 is like the same as the 2060 when it launched, wasn't it? 2060 was like $400-$500.
I want to say the 3060 was like $379 or something.
Oh yeah, so it was a bit cheaper, but I mean for the performance price, like, holy shit.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, so here for the 3070, which remember is like the baby of the baby of them, the Founders Edition card from Nvidia is 9.5 inches long by 4.4 inches wide, and it takes up 2 slots.
Okay, that's not. I mean, that's pretty standard.
Yeah, that's about what you'd expect. Now, when you go to the 3080,
seems like it launched at $349. The 2060.
That's not bad. Yeah. So the 2060, $349 at launch. That's a good price. The 3080 rather, is 11.2 inches in length, while 4.4 in width. So it's the same thickness, but it's 11.2 inches long. So it's like 2 inches longer. It's still a 2-slot card. And then when you step up to the 3090,
I mean, 11 inches for a video card is still like you're running into some case incompatibilities and stuff with smaller cases and whatnot.
Well, yeah, you remember when we built my computer, I have the 2070 right now, and we had like...
Well, that's a beefy card.
It's a very beefy card, yeah. I should actually pull up the specs. Yeah, so here, with the RTX 3090, it is 12.3 inches long, over a foot long, 5.4 inches wide, so it's a full inch wider, and it's a 3-slot GPU.
Big boy.
This card does not mess around. This is a chunky card.
Like, if for some reason, if you're really, really rich and someone breaks into your house, you could beat them to death with your 3090.
You literally, and I guarantee you'd still be able to get your like 700 frames per second in Doom.
Yeah, like even if whoever breaks into your house, even if they have a gun,
you're good. Deflect it.
Honestly, if it hits the 3090, it's like bulletproof armor, honestly.
It might as well be. You could honestly see if you're really rich enough. Forget your Kevlar. Just get a vest of 3090s and you're good.
A vest of 3090s where those... Well, it won't break down like Kevlar does.
True. Also, did we mention don't do this?
Yeah. Don't fire a gun at yourself, ever.
Or at anybody else.
Unless they're going to hurt you or make you pay your taxes.
So, pulling up some specs here, by the way, for the RTX 3090. Mm-hmm. I'm not sure if you're familiar with Chris with DLSS. I forget what it stands for, but it's AI enhanced frame rate essentially. I tried to actually use it today on Control. I don't know if you're familiar with Control as well. And basically, I noticed it seems like it hurts the resolution really bad.
Oh, really?
I have a 1440p monitor, so 2560 by 1440, and when I enabled it, it said your resolution has been changed, and I was locked at 1720 by 890, I believe.
I would venture to guess what it does is it's like it takes your frame rate and is like, well, what could we do to make this a bit better? And like obviously the big thing is to get less pixels. So they probably take that and then compare it with benchmarks of different resolutions and go, oh well, it's between. It's really good at 720, but it's a little less good at 1080. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna plop them somewhere in the middle, but closer to 1080.
Yeah, that's one way to look at it. The other thing I was thinking, based off the fact that it's AI powered, is that it was going to run at 890 or whatever whatever the hell that resolution was, and then AI upscale it up to my native res. That was my guess.
That only does so much, though.
Yeah. So I'm not entirely sure what it does, but according to some of the benchmarks here.
But regardless, they've been doing some really impressive stuff, Nvidia, with like AI and stuff. Did you ever hear about RTX Voice?
No, what is that?
Essentially, what it does is you turn it on and it takes the input from your microphone and filters out all the background noise, and it works pretty much flawlessly.
Wow.
I saw a video of a guy.
That's incredible.
He was running like a leaf blower while he was talking, and I mean his voice was a bit like
messed up because of the interference. Yeah.
But like no, he had like a fan going and he had a hammer. He was like hammering his desk, and you could still hear him as if like nothing was happening.
That's impressive.
So they've been doing some good stuff with that.
Yeah. So these benchmarks here, keep in mind these I believe are benchmarks straight from Nvidia. So
take that with a grain of salt.
Take that with a grain of salt. But it says here a GeForce RTX 3090 running at 8K resolution, high graphics settings, ray tracing where applicable, i9 9900K at 3.6 GHz, 32 gigs of DDR4 RAM, and Windows 10 Home. So basically, it's my PC build. Funny enough, with this card, Apex Legends was above 60 FPS at 8K. Control, if I'm reading this chart correct, which I'll throw it on screen when I edit the video, Control looks like it ran at about 12 frames per second, and when they enabled DLSS, the AI upscaling, it went all the way up to 54.
Wow.
Another big example of this FPS jump, remember this is all at 8K, would be a game called Enlisted. I haven't heard of that game. I don't know if you ever have.
No.
Doesn't sound familiar to me, but it looks like, according to this chart, it ran at close to 60 FPS. With DLSS, it went up to 100.
Really?
100 FPS. Wolfenstein Youngblood, another big increase. It goes from approximately 23 frames per second to 62. Maybe like 70. The chart doesn't have lines, so I'm just kind of eyeballing it, but it's like about 70.
Yeah, Nvidia.
That's impressive.
They're really shit with making graphs.
Yeah, this graph is just some green lines with a little thing that says if it's this color, it's DLSS. That's all it says.
Yeah, if what they did essentially with what they do a lot of times with their benchmarking or their performance graphs is they just put two lines with no numbers.
Yeah.
So you don't know like what kind of scale the graph is at, or like what they're testing, or like what that means.
Yeah, it's just like, see this line bigger, this line 3090, this line 2080, this
like
line
I
bigger.
don't like.
Yeah.
Honestly, they know what they're doing.
Yeah, which is why we say take this with a grain of salt, of course. Wait until you get third-party benchmarks.
They know how to make graphs properly.
Yeah.
They just choose not to.
Yeah. I'm certainly intrigued. Obviously, I would never, as of now, purchase a 3090. I have zero use for the full capabilities of that card.
No, neither do I.
But a 3070 really has my eye. Even the 3080, but it obviously it's a bit more expensive. 3070, if it outperforms a 2080 Ti, I have a 2070 now. I can only go up from here.
Honestly, yeah.
So, if I could sell my 2070 for like $250, why not pay another $300, $400 and get the 3070?
Or now, because of this, if you want to jump on the bandwagon, or if you wanted to jump on the RTX bandwagon and you don't have very deep pockets to go for a $700, and this is the Founders Edition as well. So I imagine the third-party boards are going to be a lot more money.
Yeah, I'm sure they will.
$700-800. So if you don't want to buy something like that, you could probably for like $500 on eBay probably get a 30 or a 2080 Ti.
I was just gonna say, there's people on the PC Master Race subreddit. Don't ever go on there; it's fucking pathetic. But there's people on that subreddit that are selling their 3080 Ti for a price of 2080 Ti for the price of a 3070.
Yeah.
Because they just want to upgrade, and their only interest is upgrading. They've recently bought a 2080 Ti, and they're not looking to make profit. They're just looking to get the next card's value, so that way it's like they bought that 3070 to begin with. because they don't have the money to go for the 3090. They don't want the 3080 maybe because it's incompatible with their case, or they don't have the money for that either. So they sell this card cheap enough where they know someone who doesn't want to swing for that, 3070 or 3080 might buy the card because, like you said, they don't have deep pockets themselves and they want to get in on that ray tracing, and just the fact that the 2080 Ti is a freaking beast.
Oh yeah, it's still like a hell of a card. We're not like shitting on the 2080 Ti.
No, absolutely not. But in comparison to a 3070 for the price, I mean, a 2080 Ti is 43% less powerful for a solid, $700 more?
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't get it as of now unless you can literally find it from someone selling it for like $200-300 and you're willing to,
Yeah, I'm looking on eBay right now and it seems like the cheapest ones I could find are $700. So just wait for the 3080 if you're gonna spend that much.
Yeah, if you're looking to spend anything over the price of a 3070, don't get a 2080 because you can get the 3070.
Yeah.
Go for the 3080. I'm sure you don't need us to tell you that. It's kind of common sense.
Yeah, it's it looks like I'm looking at 2080s on eBay right now and it seems like they're pretty cheap too. Like $399, $449. But honestly, if you're gonna spend $449, just get the 3070, man.
Yeah, once again, it's better than the 2080 Ti.
The only downside I see here right now is that the 3070 doesn't come out till when? October?
October, yeah.
It comes out later than the other ones.
Yeah. Which honestly is kind of better for me because it kind of gives me more time now to make my decision as to if I'm going to try to sell my 2070 and get the 3070. Because like September 14th, I think, was when the 3090 launched, and then, or one of the 3080 or the 3090, like they announced these cards September 1st, so it doesn't really leave you much time to decide what you want to do.
No, it doesn't.
So I'm kind of glad in a way that it goes out to October, and pre-orders haven't started yet, so that's, I guess, also good because once again, more time.
Yeah, once the pre-orders go, it's like
they'll be gone in an instant.
It's not going to be very easy to find one, actually.
No, not at all. So hopefully they announce it in advance. Otherwise, I'm just going to be at work and just get a message like, "Oh yeah, hey, by the way, pre-order started 10 minutes ago." And I'll just
and they're gone.
And I'll just be screwed. So we'll see. I don't know what I'm doing with it yet, but regardless, these cards are impressive. And I was reading through some stuff on that freaking subreddit once again, and people were kind of talking about the fact that, is this Nvidia really coming out and impressing us, or are we just so used to overpaying for the performance boost that you get between generations that this just seems crazy?
That made me have a bit of a Jimmy Neutron brain blast. Like I just had like an epiphany there. Maybe Nvidia knows something we don't about what AMD has planned.
About Big Navi, you think so?
So maybe what they're trying to do is they must know something about Big Navi, and they're like, we need to get this out right away, and it needs to be as best as possible, or as good as it possibly can be. So what they do is they bring out these dazzling cards, these just beautiful, like, stunning cards, so that it gets all this news and everything, and everyone buys one like day one or like a couple weeks in. Everyone buys one, and AMD launches their card. Less performance, less hype. They don't sell as much.
Yeah,
that's my thought. They must know something we don't.
There must be something there. I like to think personally that they listened to our last episode of the show and were like, damn, those guys are right. We got to undercut AMD or we're just going to get slaughtered. So, thank you, Nvidia, for taking our advice. We only expect 44% of your income for that move. And yeah, you can email us at synapsemisfire@pm.me.
Yeah, or you could just send an RTX 3090. Just send like a whole pallet of them to my house.
Honestly, if you want to send me like 4, we'll call it even.
Yeah, honestly.
Send me a new PC.
Yeah, just send me those like $50,000 or $60,000 AI like deep learning servers that you build. Send me one of those.
Yeah, and we'll call it even, and yeah.
I mean, that's like, a small price to pay for all the ideas we gave you.
Yeah. But no, in all seriousness, a lot of people are also saying that now we should really wait for Bid Navi and see what happens. I saw something, I didn't read into it much, but it mentioned that the price point for Bid Navi might be $550.
$550.
But now, if you think about it, the what was the freaking 3070? $499?
Yeah.
So if it's $550, it has to outperform that 3070, or there is zero incentive to buy that Bid Navi.
If we're looking at a $550 price point and it gets 3080 performance, or like 97% 3080 performance, I'll definitely probably buy one.
Yeah, no, for sure. If it is indeed $550, there needs to be something over the 3070, or there is zero incentive to buy it. Literally zero incentive.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. If you're gonna get less performance,
then it's not. It's kind of like sad Navi. It's not Bid Navi no more.
Yeah, but honestly, I have faith in AMD.
Well, yeah, that, and even if it doesn't necessarily outperform the 3070, what if they just price cut the 3070? They go to 350.
Yeah.
3 or 400.
Or if it's like it's 3070 performance, or they're doing their last minute benchmarks and like, oh shit, we get the performance that a 3070 does, so we're gonna make it 450, or we're gonna make it 350, or something like that.
Yeah. I mean, that's honestly what they have to do. And I think the only thing, if they were to do that, the only thing that could hold them back is that rush to get the 3070, 3080, and 3090.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how Bid Navi is. I don't know if it's one card or a series of cards.
I would venture to guess that. Oh, I was gonna say Big Navi is probably the architecture, but the architecture is RDNA 2.
Yeah.
So
Bid Navi is like the code name for
Big
it.
Navi is probably the project code name, so it's probably, I would venture to guess, a series of cards.
So that makes me wonder, like, what if they don't have a competitor to the 3080 and 3090? What if they're just in like that 3070 range? They'd have to do a lot of price slashing,
Yeah.
to keep up.
Yeah, I mean, that'd kind of suck.
Like, if their best card that they bring out in this series is like the 3070 Ti, and it's like right below the 3080 or something, it's like right in between the 3070 and 80, they're gonna have to do price cuts.
Yeah, I really want to see AMD succeed, because the way Nvidia is like, it's basically like, if you want a high-end graphics card, you have to buy from Nvidia.
Yeah, basically.
It's like, I want the option of something different, and it makes, it'll have Nvidia squirm a little bit for the first time in 15 years.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing, and like that high-end card, like, I genuinely think, and a lot of people think this, if AMD didn't have this this overtake of the CPU market and this comeback with Bid Navi potentially, I guarantee you that 3070 would have started at $899.
Yeah. Well, maybe not $899, but maybe $699.
Yeah.
The 3080 would be $899, and the 3090 would be like
$2,000.
Yeah.
Honestly, probably like $2,000. Yeah, I mean, why would a company, right?
And yeah, they own the GPU market, or they own like
why would you release
most of it.
Why would you release a card for $1,200, right? For the year before, high power, and then
outperform it for $500.
And then outperform it for $500. Is it because you want higher sales at that $500 price point, or is it because you're trying to stay on top of the market?
Or you're trying to scramble, yeah.
Yeah. I don't think, if they're going to have a 3070 that outperforms that 2080 Ti, I don't think it would have started at less than $1,000. Why would it? It's higher performance than the 2080 Ti.
Yeah, that's a very good point. I think, like I said, I think they know something we don't about what AMD is doing.
So either they're coming out with high power, affordable, or little do we know they're coming out at low power, affordable, and AMD's got the bid power. I doubt it, because that 3090, 3070, 3080, they're just insane cards. But who knows? Who really knows what Bid Navi is?
I find myself, I'm kind of buying into the hype. I almost want to get a card day one, and as stupid as that would probably be financially, But I actually,
I'm kind of with you there.
now that I'm thinking about it, is I want to wait for what AMD has.
Yeah.
I want to see the AMD's talk for Nvidia's tick. You know.
Yeah, I mean, I think I can get by a little longer with my 2070, where I'd kind of like to see what's happening.
I mean, I play like 2 games a year, so.
So yeah, you have no reason for this 3080.
I honestly don't. I just want it because I'm like, big number.
Big number, good performance.
Like,
yes.
I was honestly thinking of like just downgrading my PC, but I mean, I have it now, so.
Yeah. I mean, if anything, don't downgrade it. Just hold on to it and don't upgrade as frequently, or don't upgrade as high next time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
Well,
instead of getting the 3080 or whatever it will be when you upgrade, get the card below it, the 3070, which maybe by then it'll be the 5080. Who knows?
maybe.
Maybe the RGTX. There you go. That's what they'll
Because
start calling it.
they honestly, I mean, I didn't upgrade it. I mean, it was probably 5 years, 4 years, maybe longer than that I had that computer, and then I upgraded. So I'm not sure.
Yeah. But regardless, I mean, I think we've talked about these cards for quite a while now. They're incredible. Seriously. I mean, if you're in the market to build a PC soon, obviously Big Navi's around the corner.
This is a good time to get into PC building, I think.
Yeah. Like I said, Big Navi's around the corner. AMD's dominating the CPU market, making really good chips for really good prices. So, you know, based off what Big Navi brings, you could, now might be the time to start making preparations, start taking out loans to build your next PC.
Yeah, honestly, like, take a portion, or take like a portion of your student loans and say you need this for school. And
Yeah.
spend $6,000 on a computer.
Yeah, honestly.
I don't know if that's some kind of fraud or not, but I mean, if you do it and you get in trouble, let us know.
Yeah, email us. We'll
Yeah.
read it on the podcast.
We will or we won't. All right, moving on to that. Elon Musk. He's doing that crazy bastard. He's doing something.
Yeah, just something, it's no big deal. Nothing too
No
big.
big deal. Essentially, you probably heard about it, but his Neuralink chip. He put a computer. He put a little chip in a pig's brain. In a pig's brain, he put it into the pig's head, and he wants us to put that chip in our heads too.
Yeah, he actually applied for human trials.
I feel like, honestly, there's something inherently terrifying about that.
Yeah, I don't think, unless something ever happened where this was mandatory, or if I could literally be cured of a disease because of this, I don't think I would ever willingly in my lifetime pay, even if it offered me endless possibilities. I don't think I'd pay to have a chip in my head.
Probably wouldn't either.
I don't give a shit if I could ask Google at any moment what the weather's gonna be like.
I could do that. I got a phone in my pocket.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Something about getting something implanted in my brain just don't sit
Especially,
right.
like, as much as he is, like, he has, like, a cult following on the internet.
Yeah.
People on the internet, it's like, Elon Musk is the best billionaire. No, he's still a slimy billionaire. He's a slimy rich guy, and he still does slimy rich guy stuff, all right? I don't want a slimy rich guy in my brain. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't want Elon Musk's dirty fingers in my brain, his dirty money, his weird emerald mine money.
Yeah, I don't know. Imagine if Facebook did this, how much different I feel like the take would be on it.
Oh, absolutely.
If Facebook had a chip they had in your mind, it'd be because they wanted your data.
If you get a quick second, dear viewers, just look into how Elon Musk got his wealth initially. They said he sold a company, but how he got his wealth from his family in South Africa.
Huh.
With stolen emerald mine, but regardless.
Yeah. But basically, yeah, he put what is being deemed a coin-sized computer chip in the brain of the pig. And it's supposed to act as an interface between...
An interface for what?
So, going forward, he himself has said it's like a Fitbit in your skull with tiny wires. Essentially, it's an interface for people with neurological conditions to use phones and computers with their mind. that is definitely not the end game.
Oh, absolutely not.
It does not stop there, and I hardly doubt that
Well,
it's gonna start there.
well, if you can do something like that, right? All right, think about this. Your phone and your computer is fairly invasive. Like it monitors a lot of what you do.
Yeah.
Your phone monitors what you're doing, where you're going, things like that.
Yeah.
Now, think about that, but it's in your brain.
So it's monitoring your thoughts.
What you're doing, what you're thinking.
Mm-hmm. How you feel. And it knows how you feel because in this instance with the pig, what they were tracking for data was every time it smelt something. So it would smell something, because, pigs do that. They go all over the place, right?
Yep.
So it's sniffing, and it would document that data, and I'm pretty sure it was categorizing the data if it was like a pleasant smell,
Or a
not
bad
so
one.
pleasant smell, or just neutral.
Really?
Now, what happens when instead of that, it's tracking your sad thoughts, your happy thoughts, your angry thoughts? So next time you walk past someone on the street or someone cuts you off and you start cussing them out, the government knows that you just threatened to take someone's life, or you just cussed some dude out behind the wheel. Maybe that dude knows that you said that.
That's possible. Or imagine this. You're driving by someone, or like someone's going really slow on the highway, and you zoom around them and you can like beam your thought into their thought. So you can be like, you can just like think, hey, fuck you, asshole, and it beams into his head. He's like, and he's driving along. He's like, hey, that wasn't very nice.
Oh shit. Yeah. I don't know. I'm not into that. I think it's cool.
I'm certainly not, especially if it interfaces with your thoughts. Like, there's a lot, that should stay in the brain. You know what I mean?
Yeah, there's a reason that it's to each his own.
There's a lot that I keep to myself, and there's a lot everyone keeps them to themselves for a reason.
Yeah, it's part of the beauty of being a human is decision making.
Yeah,
so
you decide I can keep it all. I can keep it all in the dome piece. You know what I mean?
And you can let it out as you see fit. Yeah.
Yeah, like if it's appropriate. But now, if they have unfettered access to that, they're like, "Oh man, what's he thinking about?"
I mean, I just don't get it because people complain when Facebook gives you sponsored ads because you Google search something, but people do not seem to care at the thought that you don't have to Google search shit anymore. You could
think about something.
I could look at my cat.
Or it's monitoring your brain activity, so it's like maybe it's something you don't even think about actively that it reads.
Yeah.
Something from your like subconscious or some shit.
Yeah, Like, I could look at my cat. I bought that bastard a hammock. I could look at him and
Surprised he hasn't broken it yet, the fat bastard.
Shut up. I could think hammock, and all of a sudden, I'm going to turn on my phone and see thousands of ads for hammocks. Like, that doesn't seem right. That just doesn't, I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't think
and
I'd be too good with that.
I'm already, like, I don't know, call me a bit of a boomer, but I'm already, like, really cautious online. I'm very like security conscious. That was actually like one of the main deciding factors of me switching over to Linux was like all the telemetry and shit, that's all the monitoring that Windows does. I don't like that. I don't like that at all. And like my phone, I'm sure that's doing some monitoring of its own. But I really hate the idea. I really hate the idea of like digital assistants. Like the Amazon Echo.
Yeah.
I hate that shit.
Yeah, I mean, I'm into it. I like it, but I can understand why.
I mean, maybe it's like the IT in me, because you got to think about like tech bloggers and like tech bros and stuff. They're like, oh, well, I have 17 Google Homes and I have one in every room and it, a big security system and whatnot. But I'm like, well, I have a 17-year-old computer, and if it looks at me funny, I'm gonna blow it up. I have a 7 pounds of dynamite just rigged to it, so I can just hit a button at any time if it makes a funny noise.
Yeah.
I don't want that fucking thing becoming self-aware.
That's true. I was just kind of reading through this article by, unfortunately, BBC News. And
that is an unfortunate name.
Yeah, and it says The interface could allow people with neurological conditions to control phones or computers with their mind, which is what I had said earlier. Mr. Musk argues that such chips could eventually be used to help cure conditions such as dementia, Parkinson's, and spinal cord injuries. And then it also goes on to say that the long-term ambition is to usher in an age of what Mr. Musk calls superhuman cognition, in part to combat artificial intelligence so powerful he says it could destroy the human race. So using AI to fight AI seems to be the idea. Which seems like a bad idea.
It seems like a bad idea, but I there's something I inherently like about the idea of having not like general artificial intelligence, but like
Super artificial intelligence.
like AI enhanced human intelligence.
Yeah.
Where like if you're when you're like trying to think about something and it's on the tip of your tongue and you can picture it in your mind,
But you can't
get
the word for it.
Figure out the word for it, right? What if that just was like it beams the word into your brain? That's the like cool aspect of it, but like I still really don't want a chip in my brain.
I don't want a chip in my brain, and when I think of that, I think of like, for some reason, I automatically go full cyberpunk, where I think of like, oh, my car makes a funny noise. I look at it, and this thing just kind of tells me like, oh, on this car, this part is located here, and it's causing this. Like,
Full like cyberpunk.
full like cyberpunk, and obviously I don't think that's anywhere near
what
close.
he's got, but like
going forward, it's a cool thought, but I think it should remain a thought.
Exactly.
I don't think it needs to be, that whole tip of the tongue thing is like, yeah, that'd be handy dandy, but then there's that behind the scenes bullshit where,
or it could be like, oh, I'm like kind of stuck on, I'm trying to work on this thing, or I can't quite figure this out, and it just beams the answer in your brain.
Yeah.
I mean, that might be cool, but
going forward too, wouldn't that, in a way, make school useless? You'd have this thing in your chip, maybe it would start being implanted in newborns, and it would teach them through the years.
That's definitely possible.
Like it said, spinal cord injuries, couldn't it therefore, if it has that capability, eventually, couldn't it therefore teach a child to walk? Teach a child to talk?
Or you could, like run faster, or you get stronger, or something like that.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, I'm not interested. Like, I'm a little bitch, but I'd prefer to stay that way.
Yeah, yeah. If it ever, like, comes to that, where it's, like, being shoved in a newborn's brain, I think it would inherently make the human race, less intelligent overall. Because then you have to think about, well, how much of this intelligence is me?
And how much is
of
a
this,
computer?
Yeah, how much is is Muskrat's chip that he put in my head. Chip in my brain, don't want it. Do not want.
Not interested. I mean, if you want to give me a free 3090, I mean, we'll talk about it.
Well, it depends. Like, honestly, here's the thing, is when you start doing, like, human trials on things, like, things can get a bit iffy.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's true.
Like, especially if they want to start implanting this into children and like babies.
Yeah.
Like, you got to think about this, is it goes into the child's brain and it just fucks with them for their whole life.
Well, I was going to mention that kind of regarding, it messing with your brain. It's possible, like, how how many issues you could have with this product where it overloads someone's brain, too much stimuli causes seizures because of that.
Yeah, it's
simple things like we had phones exploding a few years ago with the Note 7.
And computers aren't perfect.
Absolutely not.
Right? Think about, like, how many times you had, like, an issue with your computer and you're like, well, this is stupid.
Yeah.
I mean, granted, you have issues with your brain too, but like,
yeah, but
nothing that will cause you to just like kill yourself,
Yeah, like just die.
Yeah, just like there's nothing that can go so wrong in your brain that you just keel over. You just die.
Yeah, not on a daily basis anyway.
But I feel like if there's a computer shoved in there, there could be like something goes wrong, something happens, like a bit gets flipped. Maybe you're exposed to massive amounts of radiation for some reason, and a bit gets flipped. And all of a sudden you start seizing, or your brain forgets to send the pulse to your heart to start beating.
Yeah, honestly. And then what about like metal detectors, and what about high altitudes? Like, this thing isn't gonna be,
Or if you go in for an MRI and it gets pulled out of your skull.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking of. I was like, what if you're like doing fucking metal detecting, or you're at a junkyard and that big ass car lifter just sucks your head in.
Oh, the electromagnet, and your head gets stuck to it, and eventually the little computer chip gets ripped out of your head.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Obviously, this is a joke, but yeah.
There was a book about something similar. I forget what it was called, but it was basically like everyone had this like weird computer interface installed into them when they were a child or like a baby, and it was like wired directly into their central nervous system and everything. And I forget the whole plot, but like there was one girl who didn't get one until she was like a kid, like when she was like a teenager or something. And it was like wasn't installed right, and she ended up dying or something like that. I forget what the book's called, but I had to read it for English class, I think, once.
Yeah. I mean, that, and it's also like another liability. Like, surgeries don't always go perfect either.
Oh, that's true. Especially when you're poking around in someone's brain, dude.
I know, we can't even, like, cure cancer yet. Like, hopefully this will do that, I mean, I could see this being cool for something where, like, somehow, someday, this thing can find out that you have a tumor before it's more than 6 cells. Like, something like so that, precise and crazy like that. Like, yeah, of course that's awesome. Of course, if it's used for the right purposes, it's amazing. But there's a lot of things that, if used to the right purposes, are great. Firearms, alcohol, vehicles, like, it's all good stuff. Not in a combination, but it's all good stuff.
Yeah, you need to think about, like, the invention of the automobile was inherently good. It made our world a whole lot smaller. You can get places a lot faster.
But what about the people that have died?
But then think about the guy who would ram a car into a group of people just because, he felt like it.
Yeah. You have alcohol invented. Some people drink it with friends. They have a good time. Some people drink it with friends and wind up killing people.
Yeah, or they, like, they drink and then they drive again, and then they ram into a family of 4, and,
Or they drink themselves to death,
Or, like, bang, bang, boom, you're an orphan, little Timmy.
Yeah, Batman style.
Yeah.
Minus the money and the ass kickery. Yo, can we just talk about Batman for a minute? Have you seen the new Batman games?
I haven't, no, but I thought you were going to talk about the
movie?
The movie.
The movie, number one, seems incredible. A lot of people are so psyched for it.
Does it?
Yeah.
I thought the trailer there was something interesting about the trailer, and then Batman spoke, which I really didn't like.
I have to agree with you there.
I actually belly laughed when that happened.
Well, the thing about Batman that a lot of people don't seem to know is, like, there's this whole thing with him being, like, mentally unhinged. And this movie explores that quite a bit. So from a plot point, it's awesome. It sounds incredible, like, what they're trying to achieve. However, yes, when he did say "I'm vengeance" or whatever, I don't know. I just kind of was like, what the?
He was like, what the hell is that? Vengeance.
Sounded like he just came home from the dentist under anesthesia and half his face was numb.
It's like he shot like 4 syringes full of Novocaine into himself before that.
Yeah, no, that was inherently not great. The suit.
I hated that.
The suit looks pretty good. There was the teaser for the Court of Owls. I don't know if you noticed that or if you're familiar with them.
But I was like kind of.
I'm totally confusing this with Gotham Knights, I believe.
Oh.
I'm trying to remember now which one had the Court of Owls. Might have been Gotham Knights the game, not the movie.
I don't know.
Not sure.
I'm not huge into superheroes in general.
Yeah, I'm not too big into them. I saw the reveals. I was really interested in the games, and then I watched a couple videos and podcasts discussing.
But
like,
then
the
again,
movie.
I was like, I really liked the Joker. I liked that.
I haven't seen that
yet.
Movie. I really
movie.
want to. It's good.
It was good. A lot of people, there was like kind of mixed reviews. There was a lot of people who like really really liked it, and some people like really really didn't like it.
Yeah,
I actually kind of liked it as a movie. It was like, it was good as a movie, and it was definitely a good premise for a Joker origin story, but I feel like it could have been a movie on its own without the Joker in it.
Yeah, just kind of like a movie titled Unhinged, and it's like a crazy guy.
Something like that,
Yeah.
because you see this, like, this... It's not really a slow descent, like, he's already kind of... he's already kind of cracked.
Yep.
But you see his into, like, madness, and he gets frustrated, and, Anyway, it was a good movie, so I was excited to see where it went.
Yeah.
However, it just doesn't seem... I was excited for the movie until I heard Batman start speaking.
Yeah, I mean, I'm intrigued to see what they do. I kind of liked the fact that it seems like they're focusing on like the mental side of Batman and like his violence, because at the end of the day, Batman's entire culture stems from violence. He doesn't just become a superhero because he wants to, be Mr. Nice Guy. He does it out of anger and frustration. So you see in that scene, I'm not sure, who's watching that scene or listening, who's seen the trailer, where he just beats the guy into the ground right before he speaks. Like, that's not what a superhero does. Like, you don't just beat a person, snap their arm, and punch their head in until it looks like a fucking piece of cheese that you stepped on.
Honestly.
That's the unhinged side of Batman.
I, kind of like the idea of, like anti-heroes.
That's the good description of it, like anti-hero.
I like that whole idea. It just seems like it's very rarely done well.
I mean, did you watch the Deadpool movies?
Yeah,
they were incredible, right?
Or do
you not care for him?
I was thinking that was probably like one of the only good examples of an anti-hero.
Yeah, I was gonna say I think both were incredible movies.
I don't think I saw the second one.
No,
I saw the first one. I really liked it.
Yeah, no, I thought they were both incredible, hilarious. As a Deadpool movie should be. Yeah, I mean, I don't know, because I haven't seen many of the older Batman films, and I heard some are good, some aren't as good. And then like Batman vs Superman, like the movie was alright, but the story was like whatever. And then Batman, something about Ben Affleck's Batman, I just thought he was like a little bitch. I don't know what it is. His voice more than anything, like more than the voice in this new movie, really pissed me off.
Who plays that? The Twilight guy, right?
Yeah, it's Robert Pattinson.
Pattinson, that's his name.
And I mean, I think he's a great actor. Like besides Twilight, I mean, the movies he comes in, he's a real good actor. But I
feel like I haven't seen him in anything else. I don't watch a ton of movies though, so.
Yeah, I don't watch too many either. I mean, it kind of depends. I kind of watch older movies. I tend to not go to movie theaters very often. But,
no, I mean like that's not even. That doesn't
you just
even
mean
have
in
to
general.
do with the, fucking, the goddamn extinction event we're having here.
Yeah.
That's just in general. I don't really go to the movie theater.
Yeah, I haven't gone in a long time, even before COVID. But
I think because I watch like maybe 3 movies every year. Like honestly, I think I saw The Joker. I didn't see it in the theaters. I didn't buy it either. I pirated it.
oh, nice, good thing to admit.
And Parasite, that Korean film.
I've heard about it.
Which a lot of people kind of compared to The Joker, which had a sort of similar theme. Basically, the premise is like there's these rich people and a really poor family, and a friend of the kid in the really poor family, he hands a job that he had from the rich family to the poor family. So, and they do this big scheme to get the entire family involved, the entire poor family involved with this rich family. And they do some kind of like not incredible stuff, and it doesn't end very well. But regardless, I thought it was a very good movie. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, sounds interesting. I might have to check that out.
If you do, you're gonna have to read subtitles, but
yeah, it's fine by me.
it's in Korean, so.
Yeah, no, that sounds like an interesting movie, but
I actually, if you haven't watched it, I did a really shitty job of explaining it. But if you haven't watched it, I would recommend it. It was a good movie. I liked it a lot, actually.
Yeah. But back to like the Batman thing. Did you see anything about the games at all?
I haven't, no.
So it seems like Gotham Knights. It looks like a cool game. It looks pretty cool. You play as the Bat family. It's like Red Knight or Red Hood. I mean, Nightwing, Batgirl, and then Robin. It's the 4 characters. It kind of goes. They're saying it's not games as a service, but it has like RPG mechanics, loot mechanics, and it plays kind of like an Arkham game. It's in the same universe, I believe. Or no, actually, yeah, I think it's potentially in a different universe, but it actually picks up after Arkham Knight's Nightfall ending. I don't know if you've ever seen that. Have you?
No, I never really played the Arkham games, actually.
Oh, well, yeah, they were incredible games. But if you 100% complete, like full on all collectibles, everything, in Arkham Knight, you get the Nightfall ending where Batman commits suicide, basically.
Jesus.
He fates his own death, or at least it seems, legit, but you can kind of tell it might be fake. They leave it open. This takes place seemingly after that. Batman kind of says like, "Oh, if you're reading this message, I'm dead," and it's the 4 characters reading the message, and they just kind of take over to defend Gotham. I don't know much more than that personally, but it seems kind of cool. There's co-op. Also seems kind of cool. Have you seen the Suicide Squad game?
No, I haven't seen that either.
A lot of people...
So for what the movie was like, I can't imagine this game's going to be very good. The movie was not as bad as everyone thought it was.
Yeah.
It was definitely like a fun movie. It just wasn't a very good movie.
So... I
felt the same way about like Jurassic World. A lot of people complained about that, and people didn't like it. I thought it was a fun movie.
It was an enjoyable movie, but it wasn't incredible.
It wasn't something that I'd watch if I wanted to watch like fine art. Like if I didn't want to watch like, man, I really liked that movie. It's like, oh yeah, it's fun. You put it on.
Yeah. What I was gonna say is, you say that it doesn't seem like it will be good potentially, but I will tell you this: it is made by Rocksteady, who made the Arkham games.
Really?
Which are one of them won Game of the Year, 1 year. They're incredible games. So obviously, that doesn't make them invulnerable to failure by any means.
Well, I mean, look at like BioWare. They made the Mass Effect games, and then they came out with Andromeda, and it was a pile of shit. Yeah.
Granted, that was also EA backed though, and EA played the biggest hand in that. But
that'll do it.
This game is called Suicide Squad: Kill the Justice League. It's the Suicide Squad members are hired to kill Superman and the rest of the Justice League, who seem to be controlled by Brainiac.
Okay.
This is apparently in the Arkham universe as the games. It's based off, that universe. So, kind of interesting.
But if it's in the same universe and you just like ice Superman,
I don't think you're gonna get to ice Superman. I think if it's called Kill the Justice League and then they're Brainiac controlled, I have a feeling Suicide Squad is gonna go after Brainiac. How does Suicide Squad compete with Superman? First of all,
I don't know, dude.
So
who's that? Didn't they have what's his name? Boomerang Man.
Yeah.
He could probably take out Superman.
You think so?
Yeah.
What's his name? Is it Captain Boomerang? Why does
I
that
think
sound...
it's Captain Boomerang. I think it's Captain Boomerang.
I know.
They just ran out of names, didn't they? Well, granted, DC...
Yeah, it is Captain Boomerang.
Captain Boomerang. I mean, granted, DC doesn't have, like, a very high standard when it comes to naming and coming up with superheroes. They did have one called Asbestos Lady, and she was made of asbestos.
You sure that wasn't, like, a political cartoon?
No, that's real, by the way.
Oh, great.
Asbestos Lady or Lady Asbestos.
Huh. Lady Asbestos. I think that sounds more elegant.
Oh, I think it was Marvel that came out with that. I apologize. Yes, Asbestos Lady. It was Marvel. It's the Marvel Universe. I apologize.
Oh, this is interesting. I just happened to pull up the Wikipedia about Mr. Boomerang himself. And
you mean Captain Boomerang?
Yeah, shut the fuck up. There was a section about the video games in which he's appeared, and I was wondering. I was like, I've never seen him in any games, so I thought Suicide Squad would be on there. But it turns out He was mentioned in Batman Arkham Origins.
He was mentioned in the game.
He was one of the 20 escaped Blackgate prisoners who mistook Batman's Batarang for one of his own boomerangs. Interesting. I played Origins, and I honestly don't remember that. So it's also been a long time. So now you can kind of see there's a potential there for a decent story because they're connecting it to this Arkham universe, which I did just mention at the end of Arkham Knight that Batman's supposed to, like, you know, fake his death or even potentially die depending on what actually happened. So if they're going after the Justice League, you can expect to see Superman, Wonder Woman, Batman. How are they going to do that? How do you connect that to the Arkham games, which never mentioned like a Justice League or anything along that line? Obviously, maybe they'll tie it into like Superman faked his death in Gotham, so he could go with join the Justice League, the Justice League. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not sure, but yeah, I'm honestly excited for it. I tend to have high hopes for games that are made by developers I know. Like if this was made by just some random ass developers, like the Spider-Man game for the PS4, I was excited for it, but I didn't really know Insomniac before that. I never played Ratchet and Clank, so I was like, yeah, this could be good, and then I played it, and now, not only was that game incredible, I kind of trust Insomniac where I might get the new Ratchet and Clank, even though I've never been into those games, just because they seem to know their shit.
I mean, yeah, the only thing I'm thinking about the Batman games is like, those are ones that have been in my queue of games to play for so long that they're not there anymore.
Yeah.
So much so that I haven't even bought them. On PC at least. I had them on Xbox, but I don't have any of my Xbox my games anymore.
Why haven't you played them? Like, are they not 100% interesting, or you just not know much about them, or?
The reason I never played them is because when I did, something more interesting came up. Always.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And then I just never continued playing them because I remember playing Arkham Asylum.
Yeah, that was the first one.
It was like kind of like mission based, right? You had to you were dropped into like missions.
With Arkham Asylum, you were in Arkham Asylum. You were restricted to Arkham Asylum, but that was the open world, and it was objective based. And there was like missions, you could call them, like different chapters and stuff. But
okay.
Yeah, you were in. So in Arkham Asylum, you were in Arkham Asylum. Arkham City, they actually gave you all of Gotham to explore.
Okay.
And I believe you could go back to Arkham Asylum for certain missions. Arkham Origins was the same thing. It just kind of improved on Arkham City, where you had the big map. It was an origin story, as you could probably guess. And then Arkham Knight was just kind of the end all be all.
Yeah, I don't actually remember what turned me off from playing it, but now that I'm thinking about it, but yeah, I just never played them.
Yeah, no, they're fantastic games. The only thing I could see being a problem is that Arkham Asylum, comparatively to like Arkham City and Arkham Knight, might not age as well. I don't quite remember like what mechanics changed between the two, but like in Arkham Knight you get the Batmobile. It's open world.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Arkham Asylum, you're just Batman in Arkham Asylum beating the shit out of people.
I mean, at the end of the day, those games aren't very innovative with their combat.
No, you say that, but I'm pretty sure they pioneered that combat style because every game that has it is Arkham-like how they have Souls-like. It always says Arkham-like combat.
Okay, I suppose maybe
Then they did. That was going to be my next point, was that with them not aging well, there's other games that have improved on that formula.
Yeah, maybe they invented that formula, but it's just not a very good formula.
Yeah, not anymore anyway. Back then, it was incredible.
You just hit the A button. It's not...
No.
How is it not, like...
It's like the same setup as like the Spider-Man PS4 game.
Like,
it's similar to that.
I remember it just being you just hit the same button over and over again.
Well, yeah, you do combos and stuff. It's similar to like a Spider-Man, any other superhero game, honestly.
The Spider-Man games were like, I feel like they
did it best. I would say.
I feel like they made it fun, but like I just it's inherently uninteresting combat.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I find it interesting just because there's only so much you can do with a superhero. Like how?
But Spider-Man had that extra element to it because he had the webs.
Yeah.
So Batman's got all his gadgets though.
Yeah.
What does he use for gadgets in the game?
Batarang, Batclaw, grappling hook.
Oh.
He uses. Oh, what else does he use? I'll pull it up. We'll see.
I still think the web is better.
Oh, 100%. I don't even like compared to Spider-Man. Any other superhero is like dirt to me. I don't give two shits.
Wow, dude.
Um,
I feel like honestly, because you eventually you do face enemies with, or a lot of times you do face enemies with guns in those games. Like why didn't Batman? Yeah, why didn't Batman just pick up a gun and just start icing people? I feel like that just doesn't make sense.
It's against his code, baby.
I don't care, dude. Honestly, if people are shooting at you and you beat the shit out of one of them, take his rifle and just gun down everyone else.
Yeah, that's true. So, in Arkham Asylum, keep in mind the first game in the series, you had the Batarang, you had multi-Batarang, which could target like multiple characters, explosive gel, which was used for like getting through walls, remote control Batarang, Batclaw, cryptographic sequencer. I don't know what the fuck that is.
Oh, I think that was for the puzzles or whatever.
It's to hack, yeah.
Yeah.
Line launcher, which is, I believe, like
the grappling hook.
Yeah, it's kind of like a zip line. And then the sonic Batarang. So it seems all obviously based around the Batarang. And then there was upgrades to your actual character you can make. And
maybe it's just because maybe it's just that I don't really think that Batman's a very interesting character or a very interesting superhero.
Yeah, I mean, I think the combat in the game was fun for the time. I just don't know how it would be now because like something like that, it's very like punchy and like aggressive and like really hard hitting versus something like Spider-Man. You're just so like the new one. I feel like that had the best combat system out of any superhero game, and it was based off the Arkham formula. They just took it and they really fit it to the character. Like there was so many contextual things you could do in that game too.
That's the thing that I was missing out of those games. Is all the contextual stuff you can do.
Yeah.
Where like you can like web people and like spin them around and slam them on the ground, or you can like attack from above. That was an extra thing.
You could when you would dodge, you know how you would hit circle to dodge. If you dodged towards a wall, he wouldn't just like dodge and
jump
get
up
stuck
on
the
wall.
He'd stick to the wall, and then you could hit the punch button and leap off the wall. Literally something you'd see in the movies, which is what made it so like enjoyable.
Or you could like crawl on the ceiling of a place and like web people up
into the ceiling.
The ceiling.
And you could also use objects in the environment in that game too.
That's what I was missing from that game. I think was the Arkham games was like there wasn't enough like contextual
No, it was
stuff
just
to make
punch
it
some dude in the face
to make it interesting.
Yeah.
I guess there's only so much because Batman at the end of the day is just a guy.
A guy with good armor and heavy fists. Yeah. And martial arts training.
It's just like a guy with money, really.
Yeah, I think the story in them is incredible, which is why I have faith in Rocksteady that they can take the formula, apply it to Suicide Squad, and actually tell a good story.
I hope so.
And make the characters interesting. A lot of people seem to like Gotham Knights more. They thought, well, for one, Gotham Knights kind of showed us a little bit of gameplay, while Suicide Squad was purely CGI trailer. So a lot of people instantly were turned off by that. I personally, just based off the vibe in the trailer, found it to be more enjoyable than the actual vibe I got from the gameplay of Gotham Knights. That's just me. I'm going to end up playing both games regardless. But, they both seem kind of interesting.
I mean, I'll probably play them, but I probably won't.
What'll probably happen is I will play them, I will talk about them, you'll say you'll play them, and then you'll just fuck around with your Volkswagen.
Probably. Well, it's just like I haven't really like had the drive to play games really.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, I find I'm preoccupied with other stuff now. Really, like I'm like my car, and like, I'm more interested in like computer hardware, and like, networking equipment and stuff like that than I am like playing games. It's just something that I don't frequently do anymore,
Yeah. No, I feel you. Which, funny enough, talking about superheroes and talking about games.
Yeah, if you ever felt that same way, let me know how you got back into it, in the games.
Well, I think you know what I think will change you. I think Cyberpunk.
Yeah.
I think that's gonna pull you back in because it's this big grand RPG experience.
Yeah, and that really does tickle my pickles. So.
What I was gonna say is while we talk about games and superheroes, I've been playing Marvel's Avengers.
Is that any good, or is it?
Kind of a mixed bag. I think the game's fun. I'm only probably about 4 hours in, so obviously there's a bit more to see. It has RPG mechanics. They're both in depth and both basic. It has your basic division loot system.
Okay.
Where you kind of pick up like a vest, you pick up gauntlets.
Well, is there like, let me think. Is there that sort of area where it's like, what do they have in the division? They had like the dead zone or something.
Yeah, the dark zone.
The dark zone, that's what they called it. Where you could like get better loot, but it was like way more difficult, and you could fight other players and stuff.
So the thing with this game is it doesn't seem like there's player PvP. There is mission difficulty. You can ramp it up. They are gonna add raids eventually. It's very heavily games as a servicey.
It's like Destiny.
Very much so.
The thing with Destiny is like, it always seems to do, and I've noticed this with the both the games, where it's like, it has a very slow start. A very slow start, and then like it updates a couple times or releases like a raid or something, and then it just explodes in popularity.
Yeah, I could see that happening with this game because
I played all the year one
Destiny stuff,
all the year one Destiny 2 stuff, because I bought the complete edition or something, or not the complete edition because it's not complete, but like whatever special edition or whatever it was.
Yeah,
I bought that. Was my point. And I played all the year one stuff, and I'm like, man, this really was not interesting at all. And it took like 6 hours, maybe, not even. I don't even remember how long it took, but it was like it was a very short period of time.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, this isn't interesting at all.
Yeah, I think so with this game, I think the biggest thing I've noticed that's kind of good is the combat is simple, but it's fun. And each character does feel like, a little bit different. It feels more like that character. Like with the Hulk, for example, you kind of get this vibe of like the camera's up close. You're this big brute that just bangs shit, punches everyone, and just flips out. Versus someone like Thor, you get this more like almost God of War feel. As you would kind of expect, where you're using your lightning powers and you're throwing your hammer and then you're punching someone and then you're calling the hammer back and hitting him with a heavy with the hammer, stuff like that. Iron Man, you can fly around pretty freely. They certainly make him slow, like his max flight speed in combat is like running. It's not incredibly fast, but I guess it made sense given the context.
They have to balance it somehow.
Yeah. Each character can dodge, obviously. Certain characters have like healing abilities, like the main character, Miss Marvel, Kamala Khan. She has a healing ability where she can heal people around her and herself. They all have ultimates. They all have like this heroic ability they can do. Like Iron Man using the Unibeam, which is like that big ass beam on his chest, can clear out some enemies. He can also turn into the Hulkbuster armor.
Oh, really?
For his ultimate, which is cool. That's always fun to see.
So it's almost like Overwatch in a way.
Yeah, it's very similar in that regard.
They each fill their own role. Like, you have like a cleric healer type role.
Yeah.
And then like a tank role, which would be the Hulk.
Yeah.
And like a more of like a lighter weight kind of flippy dippy character of the Iron Man and.
Yeah. So the gameplay itself, like I said, it has the RPG mechanics. The combat's pretty varied by each character. The levels for the game are alright. They're kind of sandboxy. They're not quite sandboxy in the sense that there's multiple paths to take, but like you'll spawn into a level where it's like, hey, go to this headquarters, but on the way there might be like convoys of enemies that you take out and you get more loot from them, or you get ambushed, and like little things like that. The levels are okay. Level design's okay. The worst part is the aim facilities. Aim is kind of like the bad guy in the story.
Yeah,
A lot of the game revolves around going into their facilities and busting stuff up. They all look the same.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it almost makes me think they took a blueprint and then just like what is it called? Procedurally generated the object placement in this blueprint.
I would venture to guess if they all are like the same general layout of
That's
like
exactly what they did.
that's probably exactly what they did.
A lot of the mission stuff for the side quest specifically is kind of boring. It's like defend this circle, or destroy these 3 canisters, or to fight off waves, and like it's cool at first, but the combat system, as good as it is at times, doesn't validate that being the only focus. The main story itself is good though. Like the story that it does tell. There's a campaign.
Yeah.
Once again, not a huge fan of the games as a service implementation with it, where it has that vibe of Destiny, where you have to collect loot to proceed, but all the side quests aren't that interesting, so there's kind of like a grind, and sometimes it gets a little boring, and you're just like basically doing the same mission over and over to get gear to power your character to then proceed to the next mission. Overall, fun game. I don't think it should be $60, and it, like you had mentioned with Destiny, it kind of gives me that vibe where I'm interested to see where it ends up, more so than where it is now.
Yeah, that's the thing. Is Destiny's more like it was more like a journey of like you could see, it generated and it kept the hype going as it released new stuff.
Yeah.
But then again, you have, I mean, expansion on expansion on expansion, and it all costs money.
Yeah. And that obviously adds up to a problem of its own.
Which I think is, business-wise, a smart way to implement that. Like, oh, we're not going to have microtransactions. We're just going to, every 6 months, plop a $40 DLC on you.
Yeah, unfortunately, this game is loaded with microtransactions.
Well.
But I get, with the Destiny standpoint, yeah, that's how it is sometimes. Are you familiar at all with the way the story is set up in this game?
No, not at all, actually.
So essentially, it follows events after A-Day. A-Day is basically Avengers Day. It's a big celebration. Some shit goes down, and you play as Kamala Khan, which is Miss Marvel.
Mm-hmm.
This is before she gets her powers. This event causes her to then get her powers, and essentially the big issue that happens on this day forces the Avengers to disband. Then the story picks up 5 years later. Kamala discovers something, and she attempts to join the Resistance, which therefore brings back kind of the Avengers. And the story just kind of goes from there. The story itself is interesting. It's a little off-putting to have these Avengers characters that are not the characters from the movie.
Oh.
Like, you have Nolan North, right, who voices Iron Man. Troy Baker, who voices Bruce Banner. Are you familiar with those two?
I am, actually, yes.
Yeah, it just so happens to be the Uncharted characters and the Last of Us characters. So here I am, right off the heels of the Last of Us 2.
I mean, Nolan North and Troy Baker, they've done everything.
Oh, they've done everything, and they're absolutely incredible, but...
Talented voice actors.
But they are not my Avengers.
It's just that, he's not, Tony Stark is all,
Yeah, I mean...
And I imagine, they didn't have the budget to get Robert Downey Jr. in. But...
Well, could you imagine getting Scarlett Johansson, Robert Downey Jr., Chris Pratt, and then... Chris Evans, I mean. And then, I can't even remember the other actors, but... Like, just getting all of them in, because there's Hulk, there's Iron Man, Thor, Captain America, Black Widow, and Miss Marvel, which she hasn't really been in any movies or anything that I'm aware of. So it'd be very, very, very pricey. And they're adding characters, like Hawkeye was already announced. Some other character who I can't remember was already announced. And then Spider-Man's been announced as a PS4 exclusive, which is unfortunately the only reason I had to buy it on PlayStation. And I wish I bought it on PC because I had an incident earlier in the week because I pre-ordered the game, so I got 3 days early access, so I've been playing it since Tuesday, even though it came out yesterday. where there was a ton of particle effects on screen, and my FPS definitely hit like 7.
Yeah.
I mean, the game runs fine, but it totally hit 7 at that one incident, and I was like, damn, if I had my 2070, this wouldn't be a problem.
Yep. That's how it usually goes.
Yeah, usually. But I'd say overall, if you're at all interested in the game, which I know you're not, but if anyone listening is, wait for a sale. Definitely not a day one pickup. The one thing I am interested is if they have these aspirations to add all these characters, like a Destiny would, or I wonder how different they'll all play.
Yeah.
Because like
that's the thing that really discourages me a lot. Where it's like you said, well, wait for a sale, is like there's so much shit that comes out, so much like just garbage that comes out, that like one in every 35 games released is worth playing.
Yeah.
That's just a ballpark. It might even be like 1 in 75.
Yeah, that's true. It's tough for me to recommend because I'm enjoying it, but more than anything, you know what the game made me realize? I want a linear Avengers game. I really do. I want an Avengers game where I just go through a campaign. I don't have to select specific missions. I just play the damn campaign as it gets handed to me. I am not a fan of this like mission selector style. Like the thing with like something like The Witcher 3, where it's a big RPG. You have main quests, you have side quests, you have Witcher contracts, you have a bunch of other side shit. But none of it just kind of feels like shovelware or like bloat.
Or just like shit to keep you busy.
Yeah. With this game, it's like when I say the side mission is infiltrate this facility, destroy these canisters, or defend this area, or hack these computers, or stand in this circle while Jarvis hacks into something and defend it. That's the side missions. That's them. Not interesting.
How do you jump between characters? Is it like just freely you jump between, or is it like...
That's the worst part. No. Start of each mission, you have to select which character you play as, and if you're solo like me, you can select companions. So I currently only have Miss Marvel, Hulk, and Iron Man unlocked, so I typically will play as whatever's lowest level to try and level them up faster, and then select each one as a companion.
Man, that sounds really annoying.
Yeah, story missions, however, sometimes force you to play a character specifically for the story.
That's the thing that similar to what Dead by Daylight did, which I actually really love that game.
No, it's a fun game.
I played a lot of it, but what I didn't like about it, but was also somewhat interesting, is you level up by character.
Yeah.
So you don't you have to pick a character and basically stick to them.
Yeah, essentially.
Or there's character-specific abilities, and with Dead by Daylight, there's crosstalk between them. You can spend your blood points to get a specific character ability for your character.
Yeah. So it at least, allows you that freedom. But, yeah.
But if you want to play, Iron Man, but, man, Hulk would be better for this mission, but your Hulk is, level 1, and your Iron Man is, level whatever.
Yeah.
Because you've been playing as Iron Man the whole game. That's a pain in the ass. So now you have to go back and level your Hulk, and then go back and then level Miss Marvel, then go back and level everyone else,
Yeah, I think that's part of the problem. I mean, they do level up alongside you when they're your companion. They kind of get their own little XP and stuff, but it's not the same as you playing that character.
They have XP share like in the newer Pokemon games.
I think it works kind of like that. And they each have their own skill tree, which this is where I have the problem personally, is seeing as you have to play as every character, and you can't pick one to stick to. The combos are god awful to remember.
Oh yeah, I didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
So now you combo someone. Oh man, that's awful.
The only good thing about the combo system is that it all kind of flows on a general baseline of square is always melee.
Because it's not even like something like Mortal Kombat where there's a lot of combos you can remember, but it's you get a character and you stick to that character. You main a certain character.
Yeah.
And you know all their combos and how they play as a character.
Yeah.
It's like you kind of have to play as different characters throughout the story.
Yeah. And the thing is, number one, the game's incredibly hard. Like, I'm playing it on hard, and it's frustratingly hard at times because you're a superhero, but you can get blocked so hard and get stuck in a loop if you get surrounded, where, like, an enemy punches you, and that staggers you, and then that just keeps happening, and you get your shit rocked in seconds.
So, is it like bad design hard, or is it like incredibly intricate design hard? Like, is it like a Souls game or like a shitty Rage game?
It's more of a shitty Rage game. I'm not going to say it's on the same level as a shitty Rage game, but it's also not on the same level of a Souls game. So, camera, when you're playing as Iron Man,
Yep.
Fuck you. That is the worst camera in a game I've ever seen, where, for some reason, I've been running into this issue where whenever I use Iron Man's heavy attack,
Yeah.
so, like, with him, his heavy attack is his repulsors, and the other is his fist.
Yeah,
so you
yeah.
spam triangle on the PS4, and it does, like, different repulsor combos, and the camera spins when you do it.
Just spins.
It just slowly spins left like Joy-Con drift. That is infuriating. Same thing when you're flying and you go to do a repulsor combo.
Really?
Say you're flying, and then you hit triangle, he'll auto-lock on the nearest target, like the game does, but the camera will be facing, like, the other direction, so then you'll just get hit with the heavy-ass, like, 80 health hit, and it's the most infuriating thing in the world.
That's so annoying.
It's all stuff that can be fixed, and it's not as bad as some games, but there's things like that in this game.
Bringing it back to the Souls games, that's the main issue I had when I played the Souls games, is the fucking camera.
It was always in the way. Yeah.
Or what just wasn't snappy enough for me.
Yeah. I couldn't imagine playing this game on a keyboard and mouse, honestly.
Really?
I have a feeling it
generally,
would be
like button combo games, those type of games, you generally don't want to play them on a keyboard and mouse. Even like if you're playing them on PC, you play them on a controller.
Yeah.
Well, it's often better to do a game with fewer concepts but do them well
Than it is to do numerous and suck it
yeah do like we're gonna do everything in this game, but it's all gonna suck. It's all gonna be terrible. And there's filler in like every game regardless.
Regardless of what game.
Like even like The Witcher 3 had its share of filler. Like the Witcher contracts are essentially just filler, a lot of them.
Yeah.
Some of them are unique, some of them are interesting, but a lot of them are just filler.
Yeah.
But
it's not intrusive filler.
Yeah, like
mandatory.
PS4, like Spider-Man PS4 had a lot of filler. Like it had like those like challenges and shit you could do, like the bases and I mean that's not necessarily filler, but it's like just extra stuff you can do if you want.
The thing I liked about Spider-Man's implementation was that the game itself had a good foundation though. So like the combat challenges where you go into an arena or like a warehouse and have to fight a shit ton of dudes, like I wanted to do that because once I was far enough in the game where I had all these awesome combos and I had all these abilities, like it was awesome to go into a warehouse, fight some dude, get surrounded, zip up to the ceiling and drop like a web grenade and then come back down and they're all webbed up and you just start kicking ass. Like it was always good. Can't say that about this game. Like I don't want to have to grind for gear. I honestly just want to get done with the story and just wait for the DLC. That's where I'm at.
I can't. That's not exactly a glowing review of any video game. It's like, man, I just like can't wait to be done with this.
Yeah, I mean, I think about it like my goal was to 100% Spider-Man on PS4, and I got close, and then I stopped. But this game, like, the faster I can be done with the story is probably the better. Because now I'm honestly only interested in seeing if they add good story expansions and good characters. Like, I already know Spider-Man's coming. I gotta try that out. And that'll be interesting. So.
Well, you can get Spider-Man, but you gotta get the $40 expansion that brings his story in.
Yeah, and you have to buy it for PS4. Don't forget that. I'm telling you, man, it's a real big mixed bag. Because on one hand, I really liked playing the game, but on the other hand, there's so many weird little things where it's like I said like 10 times, it's another game that really just makes me want something else. It honestly, the other thing that even if it's not going to be an Avengers game, I want like a linear, good, story-based Thor game and a linear, good Iron Man game. That's what this also makes me want. Like I think we had talked about this possibly on an episode of the podcast, maybe not, about like a Thor game playing like God of War kinda.
I don't know if we mentioned it on the show, but I think we did speak about it.
Like something like God of War, but obviously, adapted more around Thor would be so enjoyable. With a good story, good combat system, and just like not shovelware.
Yeah, I got you. Yeah, that bringing that up really makes me excited for the next God of War games, though.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, I can't wait.
That'll definitely bring me back. I will actually buy a PS5 for that.
Oh yeah.
Not even a joke.
I know. I was gonna buy a PS5 just for Spider-Man Miles Morales, but now I'm thinking about a 3070.
Yeah, I mean, good luck.
Yeah, right. Probably just get the PS5 anyway.
Sell your kidney.
I already sold both.
Man, sell someone else's kidney.
Hey Chris, come here for a minute.
No, I already I got rid of mine too.
Damn.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you guys want to donate your kidney, you can send it to us by email.
Yeah, just what you want to do is you want to put it in like a Ziploc bag, and just put an address on that and just ship that out.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
That'll go through the postal service. So moving on to a good video game, Witcher 3.
Yeah, we talked about this. We brought it up a couple times in the last topic.
If you were unsure at any point, I am a fan. We are fans of The Witcher 3 or The Witcher in general.
Yeah, no, I love I've only played The Witcher 3, so I mean I can't say
I've played 2 and 3.
Yeah.
And I've been meaning to read the books. I just really hate reading.
Audiobooks.
That's really time consuming. Oh, my car. I could listen to them in my car.
Yeah, that's what a lot of people do.
I could do that. That's what I'm going to do. Because I'm often lately I've been opening up Spotify. I'm like, man, I really don't know what I want to listen to.
There you go. The Witcher books.
Witcher books.
So hold them to it, guys. Make sure you comment every couple episodes. But hey, well, what chapter you on, bitch?
Witcher book.
But no, yeah, The Witcher 3. We're both big fans of the game. I love the show. I know Chris himself loves the show. We've discussed it numerous times. I can't wait till the new season comes out and we can talk about it on an episode.
That show's actually way better than it has any right being.
Oh yeah.
When season 2 comes out and we watch the entirety of season 2,
we will do a full episode on it.
We'll do a spoiler cast on it.
Hell yeah.
We'll talk all about it.
That's exciting. But The Witcher 3, Game of the Year 2015, one of the greatest games of all time, one of the best RPGs, if not the best RPG of all time, is getting a free, you heard me, free next-gen update for owners of the game on current gen. So if you own the game on PC, you get it on PC, but updated. You basically get access to ray tracing. You get access to faster load times, which is more so for the PS5 and Series X. I mean, if you already have an SSD, don't think that's going to change. But for the PS5 and Series X, you get those really quick load times. The one thing I was wondering, Chris, and I meant to bring this up to you.
Yes.
Have you seen how the PS5 kind of has a big focus on haptics, 3D audio, their trigger tension mechanism, their rumble? They seem to be really pushing haptics this generation.
Maybe they're making the console specifically for autistic people.
Oh my god. That's not where I was going with this. I was going to say, do you think that The Witcher 3 will take advantage of these advanced haptics?
Take advantage of autistic people? I think that's not very...
Oh, I fucking hate you.
I don't think that would be very good for CD Projekt Red.
I don't think so. Yeah, I don't think they'd do too well after that. But no, in all seriousness, could you imagine? Shit.
He wanted it out of there, and he wanted it out of there now.
Yeah, it seems so.
Jeez, man. He wanted to be back in his box. Stupid ass.
So, you know, the PS5 with their haptics, they have 3D audio, which is more than likely going to be just like everything we have, you know, already. But say they really want to push this 3D audio to the next level and really embrace it with next gen. Could you imagine playing like the Witcher 3 and you know how you have the Witcher senses? Having to use this 3D audio to kind of navigate?
That'd be interesting.
I think that would be interesting. I think the haptics themselves would be kind of cool. Like, supposedly this, you know, advanced rumble or whatever, that would really be good. You know, casting signs with that might be kind of cool. I don't think it's, you know, particularly worth buying it for next gen, but if you have it on PC, you at least get the advantage of ray tracing and better visuals overall, which is pretty exciting.
Entirely unrelated point, but I just figured out why my laptop is dying so quickly.
Why is that?
Because I had my virtual machine running. It was just sitting there, running, idle.
Are you shitting me?
No, the thing like, the way the VM works is it takes 4 gigs of RAM whether I'm using it or not.
God damn. Oh, I guess that made sense. It allocates it for that.
So it was just sitting, using all those resources, just sitting there.
Nice.
Because I use the VM for work stuff, because I have to use Windows.
Yeah, that made sense.
Anyway, regardless, let's go back to The Witcher.
Yeah, so I mean, I had mentioned I'm not gonna probably replay the game, but what I really am interested to see is that ray tracing.
The thing with the Witcher 3 is I've played it 3 times over now. So I just I don't really know if I want to play it for a 4th time. I forgot I played it a while back. Before I really got into it, I played it a while back. I think I got most of the way through the game, 85%, 90% of the way through the game. But my thing was I didn't know how to play RPGs properly. But then I went back and then I played it properly. And then I played it New Game Plus.
Yeah.
So essentially, for me, that's where my Witcher 3 journey ends. However, I'm trying to justify this in my mind, playing it again for the 4th time.
Yeah.
When I could just play a different game, you know?
Yeah, no, I don't think it's going to be worth the replay.
If I did want to replay it, I'd do a Death March run.
What is that, the hardest difficulty?
Yeah, crank up the difficulty. Because with Death March run, you really have to pay attention to, the different stat boosts that armors give you and certain things like that.
Yeah.
And it's hard. Very difficult.
Yeah. Certainly sounds like it. That's interesting. That would be something kind of cool to screw with. But what is it? Is it Ermion? I can't remember his damn name. Erend or Ermion? He's the main wild hunt guy? What the hell's his name?
Oh Christ! Now I can't remember.
My point in bringing him up though, while you research that, is, could you imagine the wild hunt with their badass armor and their ice abilities and the way they always come in with all this.
Eridan is his name.
I was close. I said Ermion and Erend. I was close.
I think you were also getting confused with Emir, the king, the emperor.
Oh yeah, that's true. I might have been. But I don't know why, but to me when they talk about this next gen upgrade, I picture better overall visuals, and I picture ray tracing, where the armor on these guys is just so badass looking now because it's not so matte. If you've seen them in The Witcher 3, their armor already looks badass, but it's also very just matte finish, just texture. But I can totally see it with ray tracing.
I want them to be mirrors.
Literally, I want Geralt to see his scar in their armor reflection. But I just think it has the potential to really bring the visuals of the game up there, because for the time, Witcher 3 was the best looking game for that year 2015.
It's honestly strange how fast you think about how fast games are still moving. Because The Witcher 3 was man, that was such a beautiful game in 2015.
Yeah.
Right? And you look at it now and you're like, man, this is just kind of average.
Yeah, it's there.
It's still good looking. I'm not saying it looks bad. It's just it's just,
not what you might remember it to
It's
be.
not as stunning as it used to be.
Yeah.
Because then you think about, more realistic looking games like
God of War.
God of War. That game looks incredible. And there's so much more happening in that game.
Yeah.
But
Damn, you know what? I think I need to replay God of War.
that's on my replay list as well. I want to do a new game plus. But I need to do like a bunch of the other side stuff too. And to fight all the Valkyries and
That's true. I don't know, something about ray tracing in The Witcher 3, like the sunsets in that game are already incredible.
That's the thing is if I wanted to replay it, I would want to see the sunsets and the general like colors and reflections and how ray tracing affects Beauclair or Toussaint, when you play in Blood and Wine. Because that's such a beautiful area of the game. It's such a pretty area.
Yeah, like I haven't played Blood and Wine. We were just talking about this actually off podcast, but the screenshots and stuff I've seen in like the little snippets, it looks beautiful.
It's such a pretty area of the game.
Yeah, and all the DLCs being remastered with it for that next gen upgrade. I say remastered, but I think all it really is the ray tracing.
It's like a graphical update.
Yeah, a little graphical update. So I'm still excited, and I mean, at the end of the day, it's gonna be free. I own the game on PC.
Exactly.
I'm gonna update it day one. I'm gonna launch it and just see what the game looks like, because that alone kind of has me interested just to see it. The game's already beautiful. It can't get any worse.
Yeah, honestly, that game's beautiful. I really love that game.
Yeah, it's incredible.
All right, fellers, with that said, I think we're going to round this episode out. It might be a bit of a longer one. I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah, we'll see. I have a lot of editing to do.
Yeah, it seems like it.
2 hours and 10 minutes of it, to be exact.
Yeah, I mean, the recording itself is a bit longer, but we're not sure what we want to cut out.
Yeah. So.
But anyway, if you enjoyed this episode, do the normal YouTube stuff. Subscribe. If you don't like YouTube, you can import our RSS feed.
Arr, matey.
Yeah, I had a bit of a time there trying to say that. You can import our RSS feed into your favorite podcasting app. And if you would like to contact us, you can send us your emails, comments, questions, concerns, or death threats. You can email us at synapsemisfire@pm.me. And I think that's it. I think that's the end of the show.
Yeah, I think so. It's been a long-ass day, honestly.
Actually, yeah.
I am so tired. But yeah, thanks for listening, guys. Hopefully you made it this far. And stay tuned for more episodes to come. And eventually a Witcher Season 2 spoiler cast. That'll be fun as shit.
Spoiler cast.
I can't stop thinking about it now.
Oh, man, I love that show. Anyway, bye.
Bye.
Leave my house.